All right, let's talk about Cam Ward. And listen, you might be looking at his performance and saying, wow, that was pretty tough, right? 2 for 7. The yardage totals was not horrible for only having 2 completions, but that looks rough on paper. It was a lot better. There's some issues. We'll talk about a couple of the plays I didn't like, but honestly, I thought this was a totally fine performance. And if anything, and actually, is it crazy to say I think it was actually a pretty decent performance by him? Well, let's get into it. Let's start off with the play you see on your screen. This is going to be a zone coverage concept, and you see the route that could work here. It's Alec Iomaner's route here. But what's actually interesting about this play is, so this is going to get open, but let's look somewhere else first. So right off the bat, let's look at the edge rusher who is towards the top of the screen right here and see how he's going for kind of an inside move, going, to the to his right, trying to get pressure Cam Ward over the middle. This is one of those things where you almost wonder at what point do you just start teaching guys not to even do this. Certainly against someone like Cam Ward. In college you can kind of get away with it. Can certainly get away with it in high school, but like at this point, one of the issues is if you're going to do it, you really have to make sure you pressure Ward quickly because it doesn't happen. And look at how well Ward reads both the field and the pocket. He quickly gets outside the pocket. Now he has all day to throw, is able to take his time, probably didn't even have to take his time, but decided to be patient because why not? It was only going to get more open. Eventually he makes the throw, and they're able to pick up a big gain right there. Again, I mean, I guess for one thing, you could sit here and say, well, how much credit do we give, Cam Ward for that? I say a lot of credit. And I think that this, in some ways, is going to help him in 2 different ways. One, you get these types of plays. He can read this so well, he makes it look easy. You're going to get these positives. But 2, it now means if you're an edge rusher, kind of what I'm saying, you almost can't go with certain moves because if you do, they're just going to get around you. The quarterback is going to get around you. So it makes it like harder to rush the passer, meaning that Cam Ward can now get more time, which is always a good thing. This next play is an interesting one. So it's going to be Van Jefferson's route that Cam Ward is going to want to look towards on this one, and watch what happens. Ward is going to take the snap. He waits for this play to develop. Again, it's one of those over the middle routes that can often get open. Does have enough time to throw. Pressure was about to get there, and you see there is a window. Now, again, you have to make sure you get it over these defenders. You have plenty of space deep down the field though, and there's kind of 2 ways to take this. So first, you see this is a dropped pass, and that's first things first. Like, it's almost impressive that Cam Ward that far down the field can make a throw that's so hard that it's like too hard for Jefferson to handle, and he drops it. Like, it shows the arm talent there because the ball really did explode off of his hands. The first thing is that should have been a catch. That should have been a play that a play that worked. It should have. Also, I don't know. The accuracy is perfect. Like, I'll show the other angle. The accuracy 100% on the money. I do wonder, though, could you have just let him a little bit? Put a touch more air under it. I do wonder if, I do think you'd see other quarterbacks do it that way. But honestly, I might be nitpicking. I mean, he hit his guy in his hands. Like, that should have been a catch. Definitely should have been a catch. He's throwing with perfect accuracy down the field so hard that his receiver can't even make the catch. I shouldn't be nitpicking. This is a good play, but I don't know. I do think just putting a little bit more air under it, making it a little bit easier, something you could have seen him do. I don't think that's crazy to say. He also did weirdly miss this one. It's just a quick screen pass, but it almost looked like, you see the footwork is just horrible on this play. I mean, that's just not how you would want to see him do it. He's falling backwards as he's making that throw. Got to make sure you set your feet. Now, again, he's trying to get around the edge rushers off, that are off the edge, but still, if you don't like it, hey, it's not the worst thing in the world the way it worked out, but you almost threw that one backwards, and that would have been the worst thing in the world. So, not the cleanest play there. Maybe he saw the Falcons players and at the last second threw it differently, but either way, the footwork has to be better. Also, I want to talk about this play. So I'm using this angle because it's the easier angle, but the broadcast said this was an errant throw. I actually disagree with that. Let's talk about why. So the play itself, you have a receiver who's going to be going, trying to get into a gap in coverage over the middle here. It's Chimere Dike who is going to be doing this, and watch what happens. So right when this play begins, you see Dike is about to get into a gap in coverage right here. You see why Ward is going to want to make this throw And really, this just, I think, a communication thing. And quite frankly, if you're Ward, you see he's throwing the ball now, and that's something that I feel like people kind of forget sometimes. As a quarterback, you don't actually get to see how open the play gets when you're making the throw. You're kind of guessing a lot of times how this is working, throwing with anticipation. Especially in the NFL, this is what you want to see a young quarterback doing. But here, DK stops, whereas the ball goes a little bit further, and just that little bit of not knowing exactly where to be was all the difference on a play like that. You might be saying, well, wait a second, wasn't that throw low? Well, for one thing, it looks lower because it went past him, and so we see it hit the ground, right? But also, yeah, you want that throw to be low. You want to make sure the defender can't get their hands on it. So, to me, that's actually perfect ball placement by Cam Ward on that play. Just not, not on the same page. And to me, I think that's the correct throw by Ward. I would say that's probably DK who screwed that one up. Again, I think that might be one of those situations where the receiver is doing what's by the book, what you're supposed to do. But in the NFL, sometimes you got to take the extra step if that's what you need. So you just gotta learn how to get that going. Okay, this next play is an interesting one. It's a 3rd down and 3, and you see the route that he's going to look towards, and this is a route that, on paper, makes sense to look towards. So essentially it's 3rd and 3, so the Falcons are playing press man coverage, single safety deep. They don't want to give up a short route here, so a lot of times these deep down the field routes are what you look towards, right? It logically, it makes sense. Gives you a higher odds of making the play work, and you're further down the field, so it works both ways. I will say, though, when Cam Ward takes a snap, I get pre-snap why he wants to make that throw, and even post-snap what he sees in it. I do just feel like this is something that I would mention of, you want to make sure you're looking everywhere. Had he looked further over the middle, there is a wide open running lane right here. And even if there wasn't, and who knows, maybe his logic here is, I don't want to run in preseason. Let me just, throw no matter what. But I still would like to see him be aware of this, if nothing else. Also, it can help get the safety staying over the middle. Luckily, the safety just, I guess, isn't paying attention to Cam Ward eyes too much on this play, although he is a little bit. But he could have cut this out off a lot better. You see this throw, though? This is, quite frankly, a great throw. Alec A.O. Manor, he just missed, he lost the ball, essentially is what happens. Sometimes when the ball goes right over your head as a receiver, you lose it. You have a helmet on, you can't see it. A lot of times guys will tell you the ones that are thrown right over your head, that's actually the toughest one to catch. You want it at least off to one side or off to another. Like, I'll show this angle just to make it clear. You see that one, it's not too far over to the left, and it only lands about a yard further than him. So it's kind of a little bit hard to tell sometimes on the broadcast if it was a good throw or a bad throw, but piecing these two angles together, this was a great throw from Cam Ward. Just unfortunate the receiver, a couple times, the receiver is not helping him out, and that has to get better. I mean, the receivers have to do a better job on a lot of these plays, and are going to have to once the regular season starts, because, these things, again, it's a little tough, but honestly, these things can't happen. You got to get on the same page here with some of this stuff. So yeah, those are my thoughts. Listen, again, was this perfect? No, it wasn't. But again, you can't freak out over stats in preseason. You want to see him look good. You want to see him make mistakes at times. You want to see him make plays. I do think we saw him make plays. I'm more concerned about the receivers after this, but even that, a couple understandable mistakes. You just got to cut those down as a team, not one player in particular. As a team, you got to cut those down. That's what I think. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.